It's been 12 months since acquittal, and so much has passed us by. Such a scattering with evidence, and some blatant flat-out lies. There's a special new prosector, and Hank Breeden is his name. He is a dirty Boston lawyer, and his arguments are lame. He's tried to squash all of our experts, as he has no case to claim. He should have won an Oscar medal to convince the court he's sane. He can lie without a conscience and keep that smirk upon his face. I bet he wears those silky undies, the ones with that jean made of lace. And Judge Beverly Academy is so biased for the state, is wading through 100 motions in a rush to seal my fate. So you can bring in Massachusetts, cause we all ain't got no quit. And we all know that the truth is my car is not the thing John hit.
Yep, I'm muted. Take two. Hello. And welcome to the Defence Rests, where we occasionally have some IT issues. Elizabeth, I was saying it was lovely to see your name pop up for once instead of Kelly's. Not that it's not nice to see Kelly's, but to see your name pop up, and hope you're feeling better. It was lovely to see. Welcome, Miss Trucia. Missy Moo, have you finished your painting? Yes, thank you. Have you had a nice Easter? Happy Easter Monday to y'all. Easter is now over for us. Yay. So tomorrow is back to normality, so to speak, but really makes no difference to me. Each day is pretty much the same as the next one, just with different content, really. Now, I know that you guys here know me, and know that I do enjoy a good deep dive. And this is something that I've been looking at for quite some time because it's really, really bothered me. And given my OCD, I haven't been able to let it go. The fact that from the very, very start of this entire investigation, sorry, I probably should have told you, we are discussing the Karen Reid murder trial of Officer John O'Keefe. Now, this is the second trial. It's the eve of the second trial. About to start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And it wasn't until 2 days ago that I actually stumbled across what I was looking for. It's annoyed me why Brian never left that house, given the fact that he is or was a retired Boston police officer, a first responder, and it's on his property. They're destined. There is no way that by choice he could keep his nose out. No way. And who would? Who would? You live there. There's all this stuff going on your front lawn. Now, I went over and over and over his testimony and Proctor's testimonies, and then I started thinking, and you can hear the cogs turning. There had to have been something that would benefit him by staying indoors. There had to be. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. There had to be something beneficial for that to happen. So I went down the rabbit hole. And I'm glad I did, because as it turns out, Massachusetts has lots and lots of different things that don't apply to the rest of the United States. They have their own independent ways of doing things, and that's fine. But there is also a Massachusetts independent, I don't know if you call it a law, but it's more a declaration of rights. And within that declaration of rights, there is an Article 14. And Article 14 basically, other than the Fourth Amendment, it protects the rights of homeowners from criminal activity on their property. So it does a number of things. So you choose not to leave your house, so you've chosen not to insert yourself into proceedings. So that then gives you additional rights on top of the Fourth Amendment. It gives you extra protection for unreasonable search and seizure, because they need to establish reasonable doubt. How can they establish anything if there is no connection between the crime at the front and the front door of the residence? They need to have probable cause to actually enter and get search warrants to come into the property. They have to jump through hoops, basically, to be able to search the house, and they have to think that that person is involved as well. Now, if he had have come out, he is inserting himself into the situation. He is then giving himself he's then allowing the police, law enforcement, to question him as they wish, and he can then potentially be called as a witness. He was there anyway, but by staying indoors, he had nothing to say. I was asleep. I was butt dialing. I was shagging my missus. Who can deny that? Because he never left. So it's actually you're not criminally liable for failing to intervene, basically, under this Article 14 of the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights. There's quite a number of different levels of protection that it adds to you. I mean, it doesn't make you immune from prosecution or immune from, them obtaining search warrants, provided they get enough probable cause to do so. But it's just an extra layer of looking after, covering one's ass, basically. Now, in doing so, that tells me that it was a strategic move. It was a conscious decision for him to stay inside. That depicts strategy from the beginning. And it also explains, like, a whole lot of dominoes fell into place after that for me. Just like, all right. So the other thing is that everyone is saying how crappy, how poor the investigation was. Everything was done really badly and not done properly and not done. Or was it deliberately omitted, sorry. Like, riddle me this. Within the first 8 hours of the incident, Proctor didn't go to the crime scene, did not visit it at all. He went straight to see John at the hospital with Buchanan. By examining his body he immediately identified that it was a vehicle pedestrian strike. Immediately, straight then there. Why? Powers of deduction. He only had one sneaker on. Now, you're welcome to do your own research, but I myself have, with the aid of our little fact finder, Tanya, not been able to find any evidence to support that theory of, yes, of course, you can lose items of clothing. However, it is not a determining factor in the the diagnosing of a vehicular pedestrian strike. He also had Karen's guilt wrapped up in a bag. He was so confident. He had seized her phone. He had seized her car. And he had bought time. Pretty much bought time. So that then allowed things to progress under what looked like a shoddy investigation. Now, what else had he done? What I might do is I might play the video that I've got here that I've prepared, and it has both Proctor and Brian's bits and pieces of the selected testimony that I want you to hear from trial 1, and then we're going to go through that with the actual what's within the Massachusetts Article 14 of rights, Declaration of Rights. So let's have a look, shall we? Oh, hang on. Before I do that, it's a deep dive, isn't it? Oh, and I've got a new sidebar swoosh. Tanya's been doing the avatars. So I thought we'd do a let's remember John every time there's a change. How's that? Because that's ultimately who this is about. And I think from a lot of people forget that. Not a lot, but you know what I mean. I don't want it to be forgotten. All right, so this is Proctor's cross-examination. And I just wrote there in the corner to note the chain of command. So we have Michael Morrissey, obviously, at the top. At the time, it was Chief Berkowitz. He retired shortly after, and then it became Helena Rafferty. And then you have Lieutenant Tully, Sergeant Buchanan, and then Trooper Proctor. Now, I believe he's been made the fall guy. He's the scapegoat. He's the easy, just say exactly the same as Karen, the easy target to cop most of the flack, whilst the others have been reprimanded, a bit. He's the only one that's really copped. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. The brunt of it, more than anything, by being dishonourably discharged. Now, someone I noted the other day on the witness list, he was still called Trooper Proctor, but by all rights, he has to present as he was at the time. So it is correct. Oh dear, that's all right. We've got some more room now. Okay, we may proceed. Have a listen.
Whom he retrieved those Sally Port videos?
I believe it was the chief of police.
Hello there.
Chief
Good
Rafferty
morning.
specifically gave him whatever videos were provided.
Correct. That's my.
He testified that there were several hundred ring videos from One Meadows, from both the facing the driveway and the front door camera. Correct?
Yes.
As the case officer, you obtained and controlled those ring videos from One Meadows from the moment that they came into Massachusetts State Police custody until they were handed over to the Commonwealth, correct?
Yes, they were archived.
You took possession of Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone physically, correct?
Yes.
And you had access to Mr. O'Keefe's Ring account in that cell phone, is that right?
Correct.
Funnily enough.
You indicated that you reviewed several of the videos on his Ring app on his cell phone, is that right?
Yes.
So you obviously had not only possession of his cell phone, you had possession of his login account information to get into the app on his cell phone. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't believe we had the password. We had his email account associated with the Ring.
Which means
Yeah.
some
So
way
you-
or another, you could get access to
Yeah.
the Ring videos.
Correct.
And watch those Ring videos on his app on the phone.
Yes.
Which means you had full access to the app. You could keep videos, you could save from.
Now, I just want you to think about something too. All these coincidences, how they happen to fall, what happens to go missing, and I don't think it was a shoddy investigation. I think it was deliberate. I think it was deliberately shoddy. Because if you don't collect it, you'll never find it. Yeah. So it's almost like if you're accused of, say, committing a murder, yeah, and your phone GPS coordinates has you at the site of that just prior to it, and then you turn your phone off for the exact time it would take for you to commit that, and then miraculously your phone turns back on in the same location and disappears. It's not that you've got the evidence that you were there, but you've got the evidence that it was manipulated to look like you weren't. Does that make sense? And that's what I think has happened from the first instance here with Brian not coming out of his house.
Later, you could delete videos, you could do anything you wanted to within that app, correct?
Yes, those are the capabilities within that app.
The footage from 12:41 a.m. is gone, correct?
Yes, it's something I've tried to find through Ring for
Really?
months, as well as the video.
So 2 videos, 2 go missing. The one where Karen arrives back at One Meadows at 12:41 a.m. and just, the unimportant one where Karen, Kerry and Jen are outside John's house inspecting the taillight. That one went missing too.
When Miss Roberts, Miss McCabe, Miss Reed arrived back at John's,
No,
and
no,
they're looking at the
She
broken
did not.
taillight, that video is gone as well.
They inspected John's laptop and computer. She did not have any access to that computer. She did not have access to his phone. She didn't know any of his passwords. They proved that she had no access to that Ring camera whatsoever.
Your words, quote, all the powers that be want answers ASAP. That's what you texted on January 29th, right?
Yes.
That put a lot of pressure on you, didn't it? You agreed in your group chat
And it never will, darling.
that you needed to, quote, make this cut and dry because another cop was involved. Those are your words, right?
Check.
My emotions got the best of me based on,
Really?
the fact that Miss Reed hit Miss. Yes, they were
so-
archived.
You're so emotional about this other police officer that's been found on someone else's lawn. You didn't bother to go out to the crime scene. You called him an icicle to your sister. But yet within at least 1 or 2 hours, you've decided someone's fate and that you are significantly distraught about what's been done. What's happened? You've decided exactly
You
what's
took
gone on.
possession of Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone physically, correct?
Yes,
And you had access to Mr. O'Keefe's Ring account in that cell phone. Is that right?
correct.
You indicated that you reviewed several of the videos on his Ring app on his cell phone. Is that right?
Yes,
So you obviously had not only possession of his cell phone, you had possession of his login account information to get into the app on his cell phone. Is that right?
I don't believe we had the password. We had his email account associated with the Ring.
Which means
Yeah.
some
So
way
you-
or another, you could get access to the Ring videos
Correct.
and watch those Ring videos on his app on the phone,
Yes.
which means you had full access to the app. You could keep videos, you could save for later, you could delete videos, you could do anything you wanted to within that app, correct?
Yes, those are the capabilities within that app.
Yeah.
The footage from 12:41 a.m. is gone, correct?
Yes, it's something I've tried to find through Ring for months,
Rubbish.
as well as the video
Yes.
when Miss Roberts, Miss McCabe, Miss Reed arrived back at John's and they're looking at the broken taillight. That video is gone as well.
Your words, quote, all the powers that be want answers ASAP. That's what you texted on January 29th, right?
That would be
Yes.
That put a
Tully,
lot of pressure on you, didn't it?
Berkowitz, Morrissey.
You agreed in your group chat that you needed to, quote, make this cut and dry because another cop was involved. Those are your words, right?
Jack.
My emotions got the best of me based on,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the fact that Miss Reed hit Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle and left him to die on the side of the road.
How
So
did you
my emotions
determine
got
that?
the best of me with that figure of speech.
Well,
Hadn't even been to the medical examiner yet.
and you admitted in your own words that the cop homeowner wasn't going to, quote, catch any shit, right?
Correct.
Because you were out to quote, make this cut and dry. Isn't that right?
The homeowner wasn't going to catch any shit because Mr. Elbert had nothing to do with Mr. O'Keefe's death.
Because you were going to make sure that the case was cut and dry. Those were your words, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
As we're looking at your house, from the street looking at your house, are your bedroom
Now, let's
windows,
just-
your and Nicole's bedroom
whilst
windows,
we're listening,
visible from
I would just ask one thing of you all. Listen to this with some logical common sense. Just listen with an open mind and hear what is being said and what isn't being said.
the street?
Yes.
Which windows would they be?
If you were facing the house, they would be far left corner,
Upper or lower?
upper.
Upper left corner.
Yes.
How many windows? 3 or 2, sir, to set that?
2.
Do it this way. How many feet from the windows would the closest part of your bed be to those windows?
Maybe 5 feet. 6 feet.
You indicate it's a relatively quiet street generally, Fairview.
Yes.
Not an enormous amount of through traffic,
No.
not a busy freeway or a highway, correct?
No.
Not an especially noisy street,
The street, no.
especially at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, right?
Right.
Where were you at 6:03 on the morning of January 29, 2022?
I was sleeping in my room.
6 feet from that window.
Yes.
Was Nicole in bed with you?
Yes.
Had you taken any medication the night before?
No.
Were you on any sedatives,
No.
sleeping pills?
No.
Were you wearing a sleep apnea
You missed the start then, obviously. You missed the start.
machine?
No.
Were you wearing an eye mask?
No.
Were you wearing earplugs?
No.
You shortly thereafter became aware that 6 emergency vehicles, including a fire engine, police cruisers, and unmarked police vehicles, a civilian SUV, were all parked in front of your house that morning, correct?
I'm not aware of what type of vehicles were parked there, no.
You seen photographs since this incident?
Of the vehicles out front?
Right.
No.
Are you aware that all of those vehicles had their engines running?
No.
Are you aware that all the emergency vehicles at least had their lights on, flashing lights?
No.
Were you aware that there were a number of first responders outside their vehicles traipsing around your lawn?
Was I aware?
Were you aware at the time?
No.
Were you aware that there were emergency responders, first responders, who were talking to each other over the din of the wind and the snow
What?
to communicate with each other?
No.
You're aware that there were 3 women on your lawn at one point?
One
Just
of them
only
screaming.
after the fact.
And at least one of those women was screaming to the top of her lungs at 6:03?
No.
And your explanation, and by the way, we've already talked about this. Earlier that day, you've already indicated she was barking because she heard people and noises. downstairs when you guys came in.
So Chloe didn't bark at all this activity
Yes.
going on out the front
And your explanation
to wake
is
them
that
up.
you and Nicole and Chloe, the German Shepherd, all slept through the entirety of that commotion on your front lawn.
Yes.
There's a reason for
You
that.
never came out of your house to assist or investigate in any manner whatsoever, did you, Mr. Albert?
And like I said, you are not criminally liable for failing to intervene.
Once I was awakened?
Correct.
No.
And why is that? Why is that?
Yes.
You had access to Mr. O'Keefe.
Click the wrong
That's what you
button, sorry.
texted on January 29th, right?
Where is it?
At your house.
Come on.
From not an enormous
Where is it?
Nicole in bed with you?
Where is it?
No. Was I aware?
At 6
Come on.
people. For all whatsoever, did you, Mr. Albert?
Once I was awakened?
Correct.
No.
Right. So, let me tell you what difference it made by him not coming out of the house, what impact that had on everything else. This is really annoying me, this set out. It's not right. I don't like it. Missing half of it. That might be better. Okay, we'll go with that for now. So, as I said, Massachusetts has its own additional, not laws, but they have what's called the Article 14 of the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, particularly pertaining to homeowners and criminal activities. Okay, so by him not coming out, so there's a specific criminal law there isn't a specific criminal law that categorically protects homeowners from scrutiny if a crime occurs outside of their home. But there are legal principles and privacy protections that can indirectly provide some relief. One of those things is the Article 14. And it tells me that his decision, I'm going to have to move this again, it's annoying me. His decision to stay inside was deliberate and strategic. Now, why would that benefit him? I'm going to have to make myself really small, that's fine. Share my life. Okay. So he made a conscious decision to stay inside and not insert himself into proceedings. So that then adds an additional layer of protection on top of his Fourth Amendment rights. So the proximity of a crime does not imply any guilt. It's simply owning the residence of the property near or where the crime occurred. So it doesn't make the homeowner criminally liable or automatically subject them to scrutiny. But it does make it more difficult for law enforcement to then enter the home. So they have to establish probable cause to be able to further investigate the homeowner in relation to that crime. And that way, that's the only way they can get search warrants and all that if they believe that there was involvement between the two. So that then, again, an extra layer of security for him by not becoming involved. Next one. So they can't just go into the home and search and seize. They actually have to have a warrant. And then again, they need to have probable cause unless the exceptional circumstances, like someone's seen the suspect run into the house and they believe that they may be still inside. That's the only other way that they could get around that. Otherwise, they have to get search warrants. Where is it? it provides an extra the property owners additional protection because it delays probable cause. It's by not coming outside and asserting himself, he technically then has no obvious connection to the crime committed, and therefore probable cause would be more difficult to assert. But again, you are not criminally liable for that failure to intervene at all. All right, next one. Come on, thank you. All right, so homeowners might face scrutiny if they knowingly allow illegal activity on their property, or there is evidence that ties them to the crime, such as aiding, abetting, or conspiracy. And if a crime occurs outside but has some connection to the property, or the suspect runs into the house and evidence is dumped there, the homeowner might be involved only if there is a reason to believe that they were part of the obstruction of justice. Next. While criminal law focuses on intent and culpability, homeowners might face civil claims. Yeah, that really wasn't relevant, but it was part of the article, so I put it in the event of being thorough. Good Samaritan. Massachusetts doesn't generally impose a legal duty to report a crime unless it involves child abuse, certain types of abuse, or you are a specific role, like as a teacher or a doctor, and you're not criminally liable for failing to intervene to report a crime that happens outside your home unless you are actively involved or legally obligated. Now, that also means that with regards to interviews and stuff, if you stay inside, they can't interview you. They can't ask you questions. Actually, I think that comes up in the next bit, so I'm probably jumping ahead of myself. Hang on. Hold your horses, Jody. So basically, if Brian Albert stayed inside his house that night that John O'Keefe was found on his front lawn, here's what matters under Article 14 of the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights. It protects his home from unreasonable search and seizures. So yes, staying inside his home does give him a level of constitutional protection, but only in certain ways. What that means is that police, they can't search his house without a warrant unless there's an emergency, consent, or probable cause. Being inside doesn't automatically protect him from questioning or scrutiny, but it does limit what the police can do without legal justification. And he knew that. And the kicker, if he didn't witness the crime, wasn't involved, and didn't assist anyone afterward, he's not criminally liable just because it happened on his property. Fair enough. But he also knew that. And don't forget, we're talking about a fellow police officer that has fallen in your yard. Doesn't matter if you want to protect yourself. Why would you want to protect yourself if you weren't involved at the start? But it's a fellow police officer. He's just returned from New York on a trip to a funeral for another one. Why would he not want to get involved to help another one on his lawn? It's personal. It's on his lawn, for crying out loud. All right, so this then sets into what I call the domino effect, pretty much. So by him not coming out, he has then reduced his risk of involvement of being a suspect. He has reduced his allayed probable cause. He has distanced himself appropriately from the investigation and the possibility of being a suspect, and he's not able to be questioned unless it's officially done. But they need, again, probable cause. So if he doesn't come out and he needs that that additional protection to prevent him from becoming a suspect in any criminal activity, then why would you involve a crime scene investigator? Why would you? Because they might find something. They might find something incriminating. They might even find someone else's DNA. But that didn't happen. Not for a fellow police officer. It did not happen. So the likelihood of specimens being collected nearly 12 hours later into solo cups, that reduces any other possible chances of anything being found as well. So therefore, the crime scene being left unattended gives the opportunity of possibility of future claims of tampering. Not tampering, like it wasn't secured, so, and it wasn't manned, so anything could have happened in that 12-hour time. They had an out, they had a blame. They could say, oh, well, you know, shit, we weren't there, we don't know. Why weren't you there? Why was that site not secured? Why was there no one manning it? Why was there no canvassing of the area done? Why didn't Proctor go over to the crime scene? Why didn't they get the CCTV footage from the copper directly across from Brian, who had the perfect view of his house? Nobody asked. Nobody. Not one. So that then, crime scene is left unattended. No CSI called for. And then on top of that, and I actually looked these up myself, the CERT team protocol in Massachusetts, response time is 1 to 2 hours. Now, they were deliberately held off for nearly 12 hours, and it had nothing to do with the blizzard. They are there and available and responsible for attending a crime scene 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they still had to wait nearly 12 hours for the green light from Mr. Morrissey. Why? Now we have an unsecured crime scene, so anything could happen there. We have no CSI looking for evidence that, you know, against a fellow officer that they are so upset about that you think you would want to be searching straight away, looking for anything you could find to get this bastard. Oh, no, that was done. And then they held off the CERT team for nearly 12 hours and retained what was necessary, basically. It allowed opportunity for things to be manipulated. Yes, the Massachusetts protocol for their response time is 1 to 2 hours. So the first 8 hours, Proctor had determined beyond all reasonable doubt that it was a vehicular pedestrian strike and he hadn't even been to the crime scene. And he deduced that by going to the hospital, and his testimony actually states, because John only had one sneaker on. Yes, sneakers can come off. But that's one factor. One of many that needed to be addressed and assessed. He never went to the crime scene. He didn't look for any tire print tracks. He didn't look for anything. Nothing. He had decided Karen's guilt and fate. He'd secured her car, her phone. They'd delayed proceedings long enough for everything to be manipulated should they need it, and all the evidence to fit their narrative, such as Sally Port video. Inverted. Why? The adjustment on the timing of the tow truck report. Why? Why would you want to give yourself additional time? Higgins going to Canton PD in the middle of the night after a night of drinking. As if you would do that. Oh, I thought I'd move the cars. Delaying the cert team for a green light. The access to the ring camera and then the subsequent missing footage. The confidentially interviewed witnesses and suspects that never got recorded or taped or memorialized in any way, shape, or form. And then the subsequent destruction of evidence, i.e. by cell phones, SIM cards, you name it. It gave the opportunity. Oh, there's another one. That's right. Okay, so the medical examiner, Proctor, was actually given grief by his colleagues about it being a rookie move not to get her to write homicide on the death certificate. That was part of the text chain between him and his colleagues. Now, this is at the 16-hour mark, okay? So he's had the initial text message crap with his buddies. This is a separate text chain. They called it a rookie move not to get her to write that homicide on the death certificate. And he actually felt the need to defend himself and replied, I laid it all out for her. So that tells me that they're trying to put pressure on the medical examiner to get the result that they want. Well, hello. And why do you think Hank Brennan didn't want that to come in as evidence? He did not want the medical examiner's findings of the manner of death to come in. But he also didn't want to call the medical examiner as a witness. Why? Because what she has to say defies his theory. It doesn't prove that it was a vehicle pedestrian strike. The injuries are not sufficient. They're inconsistent, completely inconsistent with it, apart from having one sneaker. So the first lot of texts, Proctor is so confident of her guilt and her predicted outcome. So confident she's going down. That's it. Nothing more to be said. It's done. It's dusted. He basically said in his text that he's claiming that they arrived together, they had a fight, and she left him there to die. Oh, no, actually, she said, he's, quote, she left him there. There was no mention at all of a vehicle strike or anything like that. He also testified that he'd never met Brian Albert before his interview with him. And he's as equally confident of Brian's lack of involvement, that his status of involvement within the case has been protected. Another mate of his quotes in that chain, in the first chain, I wonder what Canton wants to get out there in front of the media. In other words, what story are they going to come up with to tell the public what happened here? Because obviously it looks bad. So they sort of had to lock down a theory really, really quickly. But when you do that, you forget about the little details. You forget about the little things like Officer DeChico. There was the two people, Proctor and DeChico, who reviewed the ring camera footage from John's ring camera, basically from One Meadows. And Officer DeChico mentioned seeing the footage at 12:41 of Karen returning back to One Meadows. Yet when Proctor's report came out, not only did he not mention it, the video was missing completely. There are so many convenient things that just happen to go missing, or just happen to disappear, or just happen to occur, that it just continually snowballs into this. You know the old saying once, what a tangled web you weave when first you practice to deceive. That's what's happening. So basically they've got to get that car back to the Sally Port and get the taillight pieces back to 34 Fairview. And they don't want to be able to be seen doing that. So what do? They invert the video. So it makes what looks like they're not touching the right side. They're touching the other side. Now, by doing that and breaking that glass, they'd also collected John's clothing from the floor at the hospital in the ER. So they'd all been cut off him. They'd put them in a bag and they dumped it in the floor well of Yuri Buchanan's car in the back seat. They were sopping wet. They dumped them in the back and pretty much forgot about them for a while until they brought them out and into the evidence room where they laid them out on butcher paper. Now, if you've been handling and breaking polycarbonate tail lights and then handle the victim's clothing, well, there goes your transfer right there. That explains that. Now, just purely out of just with me thinking about it then, John's phone was actually physically turned off. And I have the time here somewhere. I've got so much. I have done nothing but live, breathe, eat, drink, and sleep. Karen Reid for the last few weeks, and I have notes and scribbles and stuff everywhere. And I'm glad that I actually started running the first trial again, because whilst I wasn't really watching it, I was listening to it in the background whilst I was researching and doing other stuff. And there were so many things that, in hindsight, that you miss, that you go, oh, I forgot about that. That's right. Oh. So it actually jogged a few of my memories and made things fit a little bit better as well. And in doing so, it actually gave me a different theory, because there's so many questions that I've had in my head about this that need answering, and I haven't been able to find. Well, I found one, but I haven't been able to find the other, because the timeline between 12:15 and 12:45 is so messy between each witness. It is ridiculous. And the way that I perceive it is that obviously the Alberts state that they came home first. Higgins came in, parked in front of the letterbox so not to obscure the driveway. Then Ryan Nagel pretty much followed Karen and Johnny in their car. But they came in opposite directions or something, and then she had to do a 3-point turn and was parked in the same direction. Now, Ryan was the only sober one because he was driving. So his statements say that he never saw John in the car. He only saw Karen. So obviously, if he didn't see him in the vehicle, he didn't see him running around on the lawn either. But at the same time, he must have bumped into Julie Nagel on her way out. Surely to Christ, he bumped into someone. She would have seen him. Surely someone would have seen that crossover. The timing is too... But also, where Ryan explained he parked his vehicle behind Karen's is the exact spot where Higgins said his car was, with the plough on it. So I don't know. I have spent hours, because, as I said, I've put all this testimony into and I didn't get this from AI. This is purely from my own research of this Massachusetts thing. But I then went on, once I found that, and asked for them to try and put timelines down, comparative timelines between the three, between Ryan Nagel, Karen, Jen McCabe's testimony of where she saw Karen's car, and Higgins. And funnily enough, there is not a great deal of information out there for where Higgins' whereabouts is. He texted John at 12:20 to say, "Are you coming here?" And that ensues that he's already at 34 Fairview. But his testimony, he stated that he got there between 12:30 and 1. Then the next time that you hear of him is his GPS coordinates at Canton PD when he's swipe card. And then he's there until he swipes out again at 4:06. But there's also a 45-minute CCTV footage missing from that time frame as well. Now, my thought was maybe, I'm throwing shit out there now, but Dan said something the other day when we were on the panel, and he said that it would be different. The force would be different if it was, if he was hit from the front of the vehicle and not the rear. And then I thought, well, how do you sustain that kind of a head injury to the rear of your head? There'd have to be something sharp on the front of your car. Perhaps. Maybe. But then you'd have to find a way to clean that shit off. Just saying. That could take a trip to Canton Police Station where your best buddy, Mr. Berkowitz, who's about to retire, might turn a blind eye, perhaps. Who knows? But that's the only other thing that I can think of that would cause that type of injury to the back of his head. And I actually managed to get a photo of one that is very, very similar. I couldn't find his. There's nothing out there for him. There's his Jeep, yes, but not with the plough on it. Let me see where I put it. Pictures. Where is it? The Jeep. Come on. I have so many goddamn photos in here, it's not funny. So much. So to me, that made more sense that it could potentially have been caused from a frontal strike to the back of his head, but from the front of a car rather than a reverse. I hate it when you've had your hands on something and you know you've got it and you just can't. I was showing it to Tanya earlier. Mm-hmm. Damn it. It's going to piss me off now. If I put it accidentally in videos. Yeah. I've got trial 1 and trial 2. And then I've got a whole subset of folders for both. One more place and I'll give up. Oh, I would have put it in. When you get Jodie, of course, you would have put it in trial 1 because it's from trial. Just saying. Nevertheless. You watch. It'll be the first thing that pops up the second I shut down. Oh, I know. I put it directly onto. Hang on. Come on. I uploaded it directly to Canva. That's why it's not in my file. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Uploads. Come on. Come on. Oh, did I put this in my media asset? No. Where is it? No, I didn't. I got some funny stuff. Ow. Sorry. I laugh at myself because yeah. Jodie does a whole heap of shit and then forgets where she puts it and can't find it and then finds something else. It's like, woohoo. Ow. And my back is really sore today. I went to John's. Went to Tanya's for dinner last night. The first time I went out for ages. We had a barbie for Easter, and it was lovely. It was really nice to get out of the house. No, I can't find jack shit. There it is. It can go in there. Now, the Jeep. Where the flock did I put the Jeep? Tanya has been flat out busy. She's made some awesome avatars. I'll be with that stuff maybe. That pertains to that. Let's see. I won't hold it up anymore. Up one here. That shits me to tears when I know I've got something and I can't friggin' find it. Oh, hallelujah. Okay. How do I get that in here? Picture overlay is probably the biggest. There it is. Add an overlay. Save it. Download it. This is what takes so much time, trying to research and prep, and you've got no idea just for one episode of it, like one YouTube Jeep, one stream, the amount of backwards and forwards that you have to go to make sure that everything is in order. There it is. Gotcha, you son of a. Okay. Present. Image. Pictures. Karen. There we go. And J is for Jeep. It took you fucking 20 minutes, Jodie. There you go. Have a look at that. Look at that. There's a nice, sharp, hard surface that if you fell backwards on, or if you were pushed into, or if perhaps it was raised, could potentially do some blunt force trauma damage to the back of your head in a lateral, horizontal position. Nice neat edge. You know, and all you have to do is go to Canton PD to get rid of the evidence. What I couldn't find out is what vehicle he actually went to PD in and what he came back with either. So if anyone can find that, that'd be awesome. All right. So after all that, we go back. So Proctor, yes. All right. So that he had complete access to John's phone and the Ring camera app, and obviously the two things were, we discussed that. The two videos were missing. So Karen returning, and then the one that would have been really, really helpful, the footage of Karen, Jen, and Kerry inspecting that tail light at John's place that morning. Next. Come on. Next. No, there's more to it. There's more to it than that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, basically his overconfidence in her guilt and what had happened at the scene. No other potential suspects or witnesses were ever sought. His confidence in Brian's safety in his not being involved, and just this. I was actually listening to a psychologist who analysed the text messages, and she was saying that there shows like almost a systemic behaviour pattern in that the way that they view things. Like he made the comment, you know, she's a nut job, just as Chief would say, type of thing. So little things like that that were within the text messages can give you an idea somewhat of the camaraderie, so to speak, you know. All right, I haven't even had a chance to look at chat, so do I want to go and have a squeeze, or am I going? Oh, Jesus, 17. Hello. Hey, Simi, welcome. Some new faces. Sorry, I shall scroll back up. I couldn't look at chat because I couldn't be distracted. I'm scrolling. Righto, let's have a look. Yes. Now, apparently, on the interweb Vine, there is a video from the waterfall. At the very, very end, we've got the actual video already, but there's no audio. Apparently, there is audio that's attached to that video, where at the very end, there's Brian Higgins, Colin Albert, and I think it was, sorry, not Colin Albert, Colin Albert. Higgins was being very demonstrative in his arm waving and pointing, and John and Karen were at the bar, and you can clearly see is it Colin Albert? Who's the father? It's Colin, isn't it? Chris, maybe it's Chris Albert. Anyway, one of the Alberts was holding onto his arm and trying to get him out of there, and apparently he was the word out there is that he was yelling on the top of his lungs about Karen being his girl or some crap, and he was pissed off because he'd been blowing up her phone all night while she was there and she hadn't responded to him. And so by the end of the night, he had enough Dutch courage to start mouthing off in John's direction, apparently. But we have to wait and see, because it's the interweb and there is so much crap out there, you've got no idea. Yeah, it's always worried me. It's been one of those things that's irked me. We're a police officer. Why would you not come out? Why? It's your house. It's your sanctuary. Like, if I heard a loud noise out the front of my place, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is going to go out there. It's human nature, and especially given, you know, his previous profession. They're designed to be sticky noses. He How can he resist not going out? Oops, went too far. Fuck. Scroll back up. There we go. Not only are you not criminally liable, but it doesn't take you. No, it doesn't. No one's saying that. I'm just saying that you're not criminally liable by not coming outside. That's it. It's suspicious to me. She didn't. She didn't admit that she did it. That's been proven. I've shown you the video. The exact words that came out of Jen McCabe's mouth. She did not say those words. The DNA being on her tail light, well, a hair, one hair. Hey, how many times had John been in that vehicle? Of course you're going to have a hair of his on the car. And the fact that, did you see the video where the towing company from Dighton went to get that car, how deep that car was buried in snow? But yet a hair, a single hair and a single shard of glass managed to make it all the way through a blizzard back to the Sally Port. It was a ninja hair. Maybe not, but the ARCA witness is being paid 3 weeks after the trial isn't even a factor to me. It's commotion. Yeah, exactly. There's a reason. There has to be a reason. There's no way he wouldn't come out if it didn't benefit him in some way, shape, or form. Sorry. Yes, me too. My housemate used to scare the shit out of me because these are noise cancelling headphones, and I keep, just the lights on in the background. I don't keep the overhead stuff on. And so he'd come out in the middle of the night and scare the absolute crap out of me because I wouldn't hear him coming to the coming into the kitchen. No, but if say there was 2 fire engines and 4 ambulances and people screaming, and lights and sirens and stuff, someone would notice in your house, go, what the fuck's that? Yes, there was a blizzard. Mm-hmm. You got one too, have you? Meth head neighbour set his house on fire and didn't even know the house. Well, yep. So your son called me, and it's a stone throw from me. I looked out and saw the fire trucks of police. If he'd gone outside, there still wouldn't have been any probable cause because no one came up with the lie that it was Albert. No one's accusing Albert of. I'm not accusing Albert at the moment. I'm accusing him. Well, not accusing him. I'm saying that by staying in the house, he provided himself with additional layers of protection against any questioning, anything. Well, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a connection to the crime. This man has just been a visitor in his home, and he's a fellow police officer. Why would you go to New York for one and not go outside just to check if the other one's okay on your fucking front lawn? It's not logical to me. Why the difference? This man has just been in your house. What, did he burn his house down? And to say that the dog didn't bark and make a noise and wake them up, I should say it this way, when I would have heard all the commotion outside. But of course my hearing is better than that. No, we weren't there. Exactly. No one was there. And that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, no. So Massachusetts itself has a specific declaration of privacy with regards to criminal behaviour on property owners and their rights and responsibilities. That's where I found that. So I'm saying that it provides, other than his Fourth Amendment rights, it provides in Massachusetts an additional layer of, or an additional box to tick for police to actually obtain search warrants or anything to determine probable cause. It reduces their ability to determine probable cause because he didn't involve himself. Oh, now you're making assumptions. His DNA would be there because it's his property. But if it was found on John or on John's phone, that's a different thing. But nobody checked any of that, so we won't know. And it's not a conspiracy theory. I'm not advocating a conspiracy. There is something shifty going on. There is far too much coincidences and deletions and destruction of evidence and bullshit that it's not a cut and dry case, and there has to be something more to it. That's it. They're covering something up. Covering something. So, and none of what I have put up here and none of what I've spoken about for the last hour and 11 minutes have I said that this is proof that Karen is innocent. Not once. I'm saying that this explains why he didn't come out of the house. What possibly explains why he didn't come out of the house. That's all. Contaminated with what, though? What do you mean? What I'm saying is that right from the start, Karen was determined to have been the cause and her car was the weapon. Nothing else was determined. Nothing else was searched for. Nothing else was looked for. Nothing else was even attempted to be looked at. So we won't know. We won't know. The only DNA is one hair and a piece of glass. Now, to me, that's enough to create reasonable doubt. I'm sorry. And everyone's saying the blizzard, the blizzard, the blizzard. A CERT team's responsible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not the first time they've had to search in a blizzard, and it won't be the last. They can't just go, oh, it's too cold outside, or it's raining, I'm not going to go. Don't work like that. Don't work like that. So contamination as far as, well, additional possible DNA on anything, on John's clothing, on his phone, on anything whatsoever. The taillights, there was none there. Yes, her taillight was broken before it got to the Sally Port, but not to the extent that it was. Otherwise, why would you try and hide it? Why would you invert it? Clearly invert it. Because the video itself showed the name of the vehicle, the cruiser backwards. It showed the door, roller door 4 backwards, but yet the timestamp at the bottom was the right way. Why do you think that the defense are adamant at trying to get the metadata of stuff? Because that tells you how many people have actually gone in and seen and used that information. She has not told everyone that she hit him. So he said he didn't pressure the ME, and that proves he's guilty. Who's guilty? No, he's saying that he couldn't convince her to put homicide on the death certificate, and he was berated for it, like made fun of as being called a rookie move because he didn't get it done, didn't get the job done. So why would you need to do that? Why would you need to have that information? Wouldn't you just want to know the truth? Like, that's the point I'm making. She had known up. I have the actual testimony and the admission of Jennifer McCabe stating that she never said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Never. The defense's theory is that, yes, it is third-party culprit, yes. Yeah, well, I don't believe that it was natural causes. And so someone had to do it. And what bothers me is that someone is still fucking out there. No, they don't. They don't need dozens of people to keep a secret when you don't have anything to keep. They don't have a crime scene that they investigated. They don't have. They allowed enough time with that crime scene unsecured to be able to say later down the track, anyone, it was left unsecured, it was open. Inconclusive. Simple as that. Simple as that. You think who's all lying? I think there has been, what's the word? Innuendos? I don't know. Incorrect, inappropriate presentation. Well, the whole thing is just completely fucked up. And the fact of the matter is that a tragedy occurred that night. A tragedy with John. He did not deserve that. And it's become a three-ring circus, an absolute three-ring circus amongst, social media people wanting to sensationalize things and wanting to, improve their views and clickbait and all the rest of it, because it is what it is. And so that perpetuates this rubbish on both parts. They're both playing the social media, both of them. And John deserves way better than that. Way, way, way better than that. It's ridiculous that it's gotten to this point. But I have spent, I couldn't even tell you how many hours of how many days that I have spent looking and researching and studying and analysing and questioning and trying to find something, anything that shows how this could have occurred. And for the life of me, I can't. The only thing I can find is things that show that they were trying to cover their asses. That's the only thing that I can legitimately, seriously find. Or there is nothing. There is zip. Why all these phones being destroyed the day before the preservation order? What? There's so many coincidences. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the only, you call it hard evidence, the only evidence that they apparently have are these taillights, the taillight fragments at the crime scene. Who, like, how did they get there? They bought themselves enough time to be able to manipulate the evidence and then continue to do so by discovering it continuously. So the explanation for how the tail light got on his clothes, it's a possibility. Absolutely. If you're cracking a tail light in the Sally Port to go and plant evidence to support, Brian Albert for whatever reason, or his known associates, or whatever, whoever, and you've put someone's clothing into the footwell of your vehicle with disregard to it, and you don't wash your hands in between, of course, they only found minuscule bits of the tail light on his clothing. So there could have been remnants on the hands of whoever picked up that evidence and laid it on the butcher paper in the evidence room. That's easily explained. But the fact that his clothing was not torn and ripped by that broken tail light, that polycarbonate material, how did that happen or not happen? Had a long sleeve shirt on. Why wasn't that ripped? Why didn't he have massive? You think about your arm being hit by jagged edge of sharp tail light pieces. They ain't gonna just surface scratch you. Hello, Sibby Sharp. Welcome. I do have something really, really funny for you all after this. Simi, are you are you a shorty, or how did one find us? It just so happened that when I got home last night, and after I'd spent another 4 hours preparing and researching, I got onto my shorties. No, it was this morning. Was it this morning? Fuck, I don't know. I got onto my shorty stream. And it was Find Your Joy or something like that. It was hysterical. And somehow or other, the conversation progressed to farts. Oh, thank you, darling. I really have. I really, really have. I told you. Who would have thought that a fart? I think it gained me nearly like 50 subscribers. So I'll tell you the story. Someone in sorry, I'm due for some painkillers. Someone in Shorty's chat, Dill Dog or something like that, I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned something about a fart, and so I put in chat that that one had had popped their live stream fart cherry. And there was no way that you can deny it. Like, as I said to you, like before I did my nursing, after I did my nursing, I ran my own business in waxing. So I actually specialised in Brazilian waxing, both men and women. And there were that many times where, the customers got their knees to their chests and they fart and pretend that nothing's happened. Now, not only did I fucking hear that, I can smell it, but I fucking saw it as well. I watched it. So I'm like, I got to own it. I may as well. So then I super chatted myself for, because at the time, Udahef was looking for a sound effect for a drum roll for the Sementilli verdict. And I couldn't find the sound effect. And so what was supposed to be a one cheek sneak. Mm-hmm. Do you know? I can't laugh because it hurts, but I got onto my statistics this morning And that is my second top ranked video this month. That's short. In fact, I have gonna have to get some painkillers. I took a clip of some of last night's proceedings. So here we go. You can have a laugh on me again. Well, I have a come on, Shorty. Play. Play. Oh, back here. Back here. And play. Shorty, play. Shorty, play. Try and upload it again. Hang on. Yo, Shorty, it's your birthday. I'm on party like it's your birthday. It was hysterical. Shorty only lives like half an hour from my place. She's in Melbourne. And I reached out to her a few weeks ago to talk to her about this, you know, if she wanted to join us on the stream, because I know she works full time, and I invited her in as a guest. And I emailed her when I stumbled across this Article 14 stuff, and what am I looking for now? Oh, don't talk and look at the same time, Joe. It's gonna work. Shorty. I have it. Oh, saved it. I didn't. YouTube clips there, please. That's not. Maybe it is. Hang on. Studio. Thank you. Present video. Video. YouTube pictures. It is hysterical. I actually did some close-ups of Shorty's reaction and her face. She is a scream. Okay, hopefully this works.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way that you
There we
just.
go.
I used to always feel guilty.
Yeah.
And
Right.
one of the great things is me and my husband just agree.
That's epic defense rest. The defense rest said, I farted midstream last week and it was fucking hysterical. It was on cue and not meant to be loud. But once I started, I was committed and just rolled with it, like literally, then super chatted myself for the effort. That's so good. Like, that's so good. You're my spirit animal. I was wondering which one it was, and then I saw the one that said,
So she goes onto my channel with my permission.
real
and
sound effects
shows
on demand.
shows the stream. Shows the short. Drum roll. Hang on, have I got the sound effects? That was sound effect, but it wasn't a drum roll. Disbelief. The look of
Was
disbelief.
that a fart?
Was that a fart? Drum roll. Hang on, have I got the sound effects?
That was a fart?
That was sound effect, but it wasn't a drum roll.
She
couldn't play it.
Yikes, man. That's a bubble and a half. Each other. Let her rip like defense rest. Did sound a little wet. I think that's called a shark.
Yep. Drum roll. Hang on, have I got the sound effects? Playing it. It was a fucking ripper, I'll tell you. That was sound effect, but it wasn't a drum roll. She keeps doing that. Mhm.
Mad respect. It does. I thought it was a bong rip too.
Yeah.
Here, wait. It sounded a lot like this. Wait. Louder.
She compared my fart to a bong rip.
Oh my god, that's so good. Oh my, wait, pause. That was great. I
And
got
she
tears
kept
in my
playing
eyes.
it. It's so
Too
funny.
You're hilarious. I love your dedication to the cause. Bravo. I'm going to pause here and say, well, yes, you fucking rocked the defense rests. It was a bubbler, a bubble fart. Yeah.
You heard it from Shorty's mouth.
Here and say, well, yes, you fucking rocked the defense rests.
If there was any doubt prior. Oh dear, I'm missing chat. Oh. Okay, so welcome, Simi. Welcome. It was funny as she's a scream, an absolute scream. So yeah, I do hope she joins us at some point. Yeah, what's that? Who's Zach? Jody's abs are fucking amazing. Oh, look. I'll pay you girls later, all right? You wrench wenches. She had me at bong rip farting. Yeah, I can't believe she compared that. Although, yeah, it was bubbly. It had all the criteria, ticked all the boxes for a great rating. It had depth, length, stench. It had the lot. All right. I said you went back on and had a look. I got so many subs. It was not funny. It was not funny just from that. Excellent. What are your thoughts then on the progress of this shit show? I actually haven't had a chance to, like, last night was the first time I'd actually gotten a chance to be on YouTube for pleasure. Yeah, that's a bit sad, isn't it? And if you look at my browsing history on YouTube, it's about 6 pages of scrolling before you see something that doesn't have a Karen in it. But that's because I've just redone the entire first trial, witness by witness, in order, categorically, in a playlist, ready to go. And Simi, I'll have you know my plans. I'm going to turn this. Hang on, I have to turn this fan off. 1 second. Oh, my back. It's giving me back spasm. Let's plug the heater in instead. So what was I saying? So what I've done, Simi, is I've bought this. It's like a database analysis tool, but it's a legal database analysis tool. So it's designed to analyze, transcripts and stuff for lawyers. And I have gone through painstakingly, one by one, and uploaded the entire transcripts for trial 1 into this database, which then becomes an interactive factual tool for me. All right, I'm back now. I've got my heater pad on my back. I should be good now. So yeah, I put the entire testimony, every witness from the first trial is on this database. And then the actual engine that it uses is ChatGPT to run it, to find, like to bring out, to extract the information basically. So you can ask it any question you want, and it will give you a factual based answer because what you've provided is already in there. And my plan is to then, as the trial's going, trial 2 is going, I'll be uploading the transcripts of each witness and I'll be comparing the two for any discrepancies. It's like another way to analyze it. But I've also gone in and put in all of the motions for both sides and the rulings in between. So you can ask it things like, I haven't had a chance to yet, but that's the plan down the track. You can say, okay, the rulings made on the motions contained within this folder, do they favour one side or the other? Or if this motion was granted, what benefit would it have to the prosecution or the defence? That type of thing. Like, it gives you so many preemptive opportunities and questions to be asked. It's going to be awesome. I've strangled so many times. A fart sub. That's all right. What did I call you the other day, Tricia? The troll. What was it? It was a TTIT or something. I can't remember. Because we're going to have a few tomorrow. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. There's far too many. Yes, we do. Shorty was actually saying that YouTube, if she says the C word more than twice in her stream, YouTube like bumps her right down the algorithm. Apparently they scan the words that you use, and she's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it. It's a word I use, and I'm not changing for YouTube. Oh, good for fucking you. Good for you. And someone had complained about the swear words in her intro, and she's like, well, that was actually done so that it would warn you. So if the intro offended you, then perhaps you should have just fucked off. Oh, always. Your Camp Shorty publicly buzzed. I've heard that name. Oh, I don't know. I have not had a chance to see them though. I only bumped into Shorty through Aussie because I did a Karen Reid stream with Aussie on another channel, and it was just before she went through all that crap, which was awful. Or just as she was going. No, just before, I think. So, but it's hard. I have it. It's hard to, like, Tanya brings me up and, oh, have you seen this? I haven't had a chance to see anything. So, she's got some good emojis. Yes. I've got some avatars, but I'm still a baby YouTuber, so to speak. It's only just clicked over. In fact, I actually monetized the very day of 12 months, which was the beginning of this month. I finally clicked over on the day to monetize. So I've only been here for 12 months. So I've had a few issues with the Discord, which we won't go into today because we just won't. You'll be filled in, but I just don't have the energy for that. So I've sort of been hindered in a few things that I would have liked to have had set up and accessible. But that's exactly right. Tricia. Yeah. But what upsets me too is that I really honestly don't believe that she's responsible, and it infuriates me that the other person that did is just about laughing in everyone's faces. I don't know who it was, and everyone has their theories and everyone has their, because that's all we've got. There is no concrete evidence. There is no factual hard evidence at all to convict or to connect the two at all. And the fact that the ARCA witnesses are the biggest threat to the prosecution because they blow everything out of the water. That's why Hank is fighting so hard to have them excluded. They pretty much prove, like, you can't attack their credibility because they're so overqualified. Like, it took 10 minutes to read out each of their bloody CVs. They performed reconstruction attempts and tried to recreate what had happened and determine how things were caused with biomechanics, kinetics, physics, like the whole, like, the whole science thing, proof, hard evidence. And they were hired independently by someone who was so their report is non-biased either way. The report was written and submitted on the 20th of February, which was before the trial had started. Their testimony was limited only in scope to that report. So they are not only credible, they are well-versed, well-knowledged, well-read, well-experienced, and hired by the federal government, who wouldn't hire fools for no reason, to provide a report on whether or not the jigsaw puzzle fitted. And they conclusively showed that it didn't. You cannot get an isolated part of a vehicle, such as a taillight, just the taillight, as damage from a vehicle pedestrian strike. There's no way. You would have to have dents and bits and pieces to the fenders, to the quarter panels, whatever. And the back of that car is round. Jen McCabe states that she must have looked at that car 15 times between 12:32 and 12:47 or some crap. But nobody heard it drive forward or reverse back at any high speeds or heard anyone being hit by a car. Everyone contradicts themselves. That head injury, he'd been drinking. And fact again, medical examiner said there was 3 liters of blood that he had lost. Now, I've got pictures of the snow or the grass under where his body was. There's a few drops of blood. It's not 3 liters. Like, nothing makes sense. Nothing. It is so... that guy is a bit uninformed. Who are we talking about? I missed something. Look, there has been shady shit on both sides. Yeah, no doubt. And of course, you can fit any bit of evidence, any set of circumstances to fit your narrative, no matter what way. You can manipulate it to look at your way. No worries. Easily done. A couple of them already slipped and said John went, yeah. Well, it's the weight that the jury is going to put on it, Brian Higgins slipped and said he saw someone tall or dark in the house. And then it was Julie Nagel that said she saw a blob. So, yeah. Do you know what? But Lally played a fair fight. He didn't sink to the depths. Well, he may have admitted a number of things, perhaps, or turned a blind eye to things like the Sally Port video and what have you, but the depths of deceit and the depths of manipulation that I don't even think we have even begun to see from Hank Brennan scares me. It fucking scares the shit out of me. And, just the simple thing of him putting a motion in to not have the medical examiner's findings of inconsistency to the manner of death, because it didn't say homicide. But on top of that, not calling the medical examiner. So it's that presentation of, well, that's what I'm saying. It's the omission bits that are missing that make it, how do you explain it? It's like the Koberger case when I first watched that, right back when it first happened. And he turned he was in the area, turned the phone off, and then turned it back on. And once it was done, it's that omission is also like a fact. Just because it doesn't exist, the fact that it occurred is evidence of something, whether it's a cover-up, whether it's who the fuck knows? I don't think any of it was particularly intentional. I'd never thought it was intentional until the last couple of days. I never thought his wounds are inconsistent with being beaten the fuck out of. Completely. The raccoon eyes, like the puffiness on here, of course, purely from the head injury, and it was blunt force trauma to the back of his head. Now, in my opinion, with my medical background, that's what killed him. That's the only thing that really matters. Doesn't matter how many fucking dogs bit his arm, how many raccoons bit his arm, how many text messages, how many people he fucked. No, makes no difference. What killed him was that blunt force trauma to the back of his head. And you need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt what caused that. That's what it comes down to. And everything else is smoke and mirrors. Everything else. Yep, everyone was drunk. And yes, Karen was drunk. I think she was actually drunker than she thought she was. Oh, stop and let her catch up. They were all drink driving. Yeah. Yep, they're all guilty of that. For sure. But who prosecutes them? Who? Who's going to stand up and go, oi? No, it doesn't work like that. It has become a massive big shit show, and it's not fair. It is disrespectful to John, and that's the person. But I don't think it's fair to Karen either, because I think she was the convenient scapegoat, so to speak, just like Proctor. Much better than a drunk. Oh, did you? I've got another one. I wrote one for the first trial. It's a bit sadder, not as funny as the one I've got. I'll play them both for you, though. I love making AI songs. Love it. I've written I should play a Sarah Burns one too. What do you reckon? Oh, yeah. Yes, we would. I've been trying to get her. But she works so goddamn hard. Poor bugger. I was there, but thrilled to see it again. What? Oh, the Bong Fart River. God, I am way behind, aren't I? Oh, yeah. Oh, that was funny. All right, so I'll fill you in a little bit, Simi. I have chronic psoriatic arthritis, basically, and I've got crushed vertebrae that are pinching nerves and all sorts of shit and blood vessels and what have you. So I suffer from chronic back pain and I've got discs protruding and but I've also been on I was poorly treated at the start when I was diagnosed and put on prednisolone and never taken off it. So prednisolone is nasty. Whilst it does a good job at the start, long term, it's a nasty drug. And it pretty much weakens, it causes proximal muscle weakness. It weakens all your ligaments. And so I've had ligament shear, like I've had two completely torn in my right shoulder, 3 in my left, and now 1 in my groin. So I can't lift my arms up above my shoulders, or my dexterity is fucked and my strength is fucked, and it's just fucked. It's all fucked. And it's just consistently getting worse and worse and worse. So I decided that I've set up my bedroom. So I've got an iPad with a keyboard and a mouse set up in there, so that if I need to, if my back pain's really bad, I've got it set up out here, and I can log into StreamYard over there, and I can still participate in the stream, but I'm actually laying down and resting my back. And one day I fell asleep and I started snoring, and I didn't turn the stream off. Ow. Oh, sorry. And the funny thing was that, like, 2 hours later, I woke up and the stream's still running, and there were people still there listening. It was hysterical. Publicly Buzz hosts Murder Church on Sunday mornings. We watch vintage trials. I started doing the older trials. I started getting into that at the start, yeah. And we've watched, have you seen the Molly Tibbetts? That was brilliant. Brilliant. Double C word, yes, double C word. Hey? Alan Jackson is the prosecutor in what? I've missed something, surely. I've missed something. Linda Baden. I don't know. Don't know who that is. The one girl said Colin wasn't there when John was... Oh, that's Ali. Ali McCabe said that. Yeah, there you go. I know it inside out, trust me. Oh, that's a shame, love. I hate it when work gets in the way. Do you want me to? I'll play the actual testimony again, because Alan Jackson clearly says that the words "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him" were not stated, and she said correct, because prior to that, he actually quotes what was said in Jen's grand jury testimony. But I'll play it again. Oh, I've got to find it. Videos. That's the only crap thing about shorts, is I have to upload them from my phone, because apparently it works better that way somehow. That's me why. Whilst you're waiting for me to look, have a listen to my Karen Reid song.
12 months since acquittal, and so much has passed us by. Such a scattering with evidence, and some blatant flat-out lies. Special new press sector, and Hank Breeden is his name. He is a dirty Boston lawyer, and his arguments are lame. He's trying to squash all of our experts, as he has no case to claim. He should have won an Oscar medal to convince the court he's sane. He can lie without a conscience and keep that smirk upon his face. I bet he wears those silky undies, the ones with that jean made of lace. And Judge Beverly Academy is so biased for the state, is waiting through 100 motions in a rush to seal my fate. So you can bring in Massachusetts, cause we all ain't got no quit. And we all know that the truth is my car is not the thing John hit. It's been 12 months since acquittal, and so much has passed us by, such as tampering with evidence and some blatant flat-out lies. Enter special new prosecutor, and Hank Breeden is his name. He is a dirty Boston lawyer, and his arguments are lame. He's trying to squash all of our experts, as he has no case to claim. He should have won an Oscar medal to convince the court he's sane. He can lie without a conscience and keep that smirk upon his face. I bet he wears those silky undies, the ones with that jean made of lace. And Judge Beverly Academy is so biased for the state, is waiting through 100 motions in a rush to seal my fate. So you can bring in Massachusetts, cause we all ain't got no quit. And we all know that the truth is my car is not the thing John hit. So you can't bring in Massachusetts, cause we all ain't got no quit. And we all know that the truth is my car is not the thing John hit. Who thinks John hit? So you can bring in Massachusetts, cause we all ain't got no quit. And we all know that the truth is my car is not the thing John hit.
All right. I found it.
Ms. McCabe, I want to go back very briefly to something you said just before we broke, and that was in respect of the statements that you attribute to my client out of the scene. You said, well, there was an officer possibly asking questions, or it could have been a female EMT, and I wasn't answering questions about that, correct? Hence, you didn't say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Can you be clearer on your question?
Let me rephrase that. Before we broke a few minutes ago, you had said, the reason I didn't say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, is because I was never asked. And the subject never came up about what an officer asked her when she declared that. So I just didn't offer it. And then you said, or it could have been an EMT.
Yes, I'm unclear who was there.
Isn't it true that at the grand jury, the question that was posed to you, and this is
Now listen to
also
this
page 208, of the grand jury. The question that was posed to you is, quote, so what happens next with yourself, Ms. Roberts, and Ms. Reed? And your answer was, so there are different, police officers getting statements from us. At one point, I'm standing with Ms. Reed, and she's saying, did I hit him? Could I have hit him?
Did I hit him? Could I have hit him?
And there was, I believe, an EMT, a female, standing right next to me and listening to her yelling, did I hit him?
Did I
Could I
hit
have hit him?
Is
he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead?
That's what Jennifer McCabe's statement says. Karen said at the grand jury. That is her testimony.
It was pretty much nonstop. Remember that testimony?
I do.
So in point of fact, you were answering the direct question about what happened in front of the police officer and the EMT, correct?
There were multiple police officers in multiple.
Shouldn't matter who. That's why question which police officer, which EMT. Makes no difference. You've just stated that she said this, this, and this.
Multiple EMTs present.
So now this is another police officer and a different EMT.
I'm not saying that.
Okay. But nowhere in this did
Nowhere
you say
in this.
she declared
Nowhere in this did you say she
the
declared
words, I hit him.
the words I hit him.
Correct.
Correct. Nowhere in this did she say the words. Did you declare she said the words, "I hit him"? Correct. And this one's a bit of a tearjerker, but I wrote this one the last trial.
I plead not guilty to this deed. We were just drinking at the bar.
I might make it bigger.
They think I hit you
That
with
yummy
my
look.
car, though I don't really know how, without me damaging the plow. So we found you in the snow. How you got there, I don't know. Brian Albertson's the place where we found your broken face. All the witnesses at trial claim their phones can all but dial. The McCabe say they're your friend,
Welcome.
but the truth they surely bend. They will pull out all the stops, protecting all the crooked cops. And those cringy texts I sent to the agent that was banned were removed in single threads by machines owned by the feds. So Detective Brian's dreams were not disturbed by my shrill screams. Carrie Roberts testified,
Defied.
didn't fake it when she cried.
She
I'm
loved
like
it.
Jen who likes to mock a state of horror and of shock. It was February 22 when I last set eyes on you. Death is such a nasty thief of your life, Johnny O'Keefe.
That's sad. But yeah, I wrote that for the last trial. And that was my intro for every one of them. Oh, I've got it. Oh, Miss Mandy's on in half a. I might redirect you over there when I'm done. But do you want me to play the Sarah Boone one? I want AJ to ask Jen when she was looking for blankets. Like, yeah, why didn't they go into the house? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. None of it makes sense, Montana. None of it. And I think you might have missed the start, but the whole reason that I'm doing this stream was because it's bothered me. And it's bothered me since the start of the first trial. Why Brian Albert never bothered to come out of his house. And I've been searching for some, because there had to be been a reason. There's no way that he could not have helped himself. There's no way. Not in his former line of work. You know, like, it's his front fucking lawn. Of course you're going to go and have a sticky nose. Unless it would benefit you in some way. And it wasn't until a couple of nights ago that I found something in writing in Massachusetts property owners, that's called Article 14, the rights of property holders in regards to criminal activity on their property. And it does protect it. Look, it's not a get out of jail free card by any means, but it adds an extra layer of protection. Plus, then he's not self-snitching either. He's not opened himself up to being questioned outside. So they're containing. That's what they're doing. They're containing the damage, and by containing it, they're not looking for any either. You know what I mean? No CSI were brought out. 13, 12 hours late. Like, things going to be so diluted in a blizzard 12 hours later, there's less likelihood of finding anything else. Why else would you delay? Why else would you delay a CERT team or not call a CSI? You want to find out how your brother in blue died. Like, they should be pulling every trick out of the book. It's one of their own. That's what gets me. That's what gets me. Yes, the ones who. All right, I'll play Sarah Boone. I think I've got it here in my playlist on here, I think. Ooh. Got a nice picture of a sausage biscuit. Oh, I've got, there it is.
So my name is Sarah Boone, and I'm on file for my life. And my defense in this darn trial is that I'm just a battered wife. My boyfriend George and I would drink and end up in a fight, till a game of hide and seek caused massive changes overnight. You see, we had been drinking wine, and I was probably off my face. And my boyfriend thought it cool to put himself in a suitcase. When I zipped him up inside, he started calling out my name. So I recorded what he said, cause I thought he was so lame. I was so drunk that I passed out, woke up with a thumping head. And when I opened up the suitcase, I found my boyfriend who was dead. Now they charged me with his murder, and I've been locked up in this jail. And my fate may be decided from my recordings of his wail. And in my statement I would say that the game of hide and seek is what we both wanted to play. And then I got some useless lawyers that were really effing dense, and they refused to change my claim to make it out of self-defense. So now I'm on my ninth attorney, and 5 long years has been a while, writing letters to the judge while I've been waiting for my trial. So when James Owen saw my ad, chose to help me save my life, he then put forward a new motion to claim defense for battered wife. So let's see who has the power. But I might stink during the trial if I don't get a doggone shower. I want my chippies and Pop-Tarts and a box of cookies too, and maybe add to that some water and some peppermint to chew.
And some peppermints to chew. Yes. This is what I was talking about. You talking about the one opposite with the perfect view with CCTV footage to Brian's place. Yeah, with the crime scene unsecured, one could quite easily walk across the road and have a chat, couldn't they? Just saying. Yeah, and same as Proctor. Like he's going, oh, I was really upset that she what she did to John. Well, you deduced that from a shoe. I shit you not. If you go back and listen to Proctor's testimony, that's how he determined it was a vehicle pedestrian collision at the hospital. He didn't go to the crime scene. No crime scene analysis there. And yeah, he called John an ice, a frozen or something to his sister when he was texting his sister. Like, why wouldn't Jen have said, John O'Keefe, police officers down in the snow, hello, if you're going to pull rank, that's the time to do it. Correct. I did one for Chloe Driver. That was sad. Who else did I do one for? Oh, Ty Tucker. In fact, I've invited him on too. He hasn't gotten back to me, but I thought he might be able to watch a bit of trial and give us his perspective of what it feels like to be accused of something and what extents you would go, like, what it feels like, basically. He said in the text messages, to those first text messages to his mates, he said that initially he thought that she had beat him up until he saw him at the hospital. And that's when he said she waffled him. And he determined from then that his statement was that he noticed he only had one sneaker on, and that is highly like it's part of, I don't know what he quoted, but yeah, it's highly likely that that's what it was. And for the life of me, I looked it up and I could not find any research whatsoever. Yes, you can lose items of clothing in vehicle pedestrian strike, but the fact that it was determined only on that factor is ridiculous. Oh, yes, we do. And I've run out of plums, so you'll be glad to know. Oh, yes, we all have drunk fingers. I have retarded fingers, but, you know. Yeah. Oh, hang on, there's this one I forgot to show.
Was here and say, well, yes, you fucking rock the defense rests.
Yep, that's coming in to my media files and will be played regularly along with this one. That's hysterical. And this one. Oh, I love shit like that. Not drunk. I smoke but don't drink booze. Yeah, no, I don't. Although I will say Tanya handed me a what was it? A coffee martini or something that I was sipping on last night, and I must say my cheeks were getting red. But no, I don't generally drink at all. Oh dear. Right. Well, it's the eve, isn't it? It's the eve of the unknown, and that's fucking scary. So tomorrow, your morning time, 8:45. I think I've selected as our start time, just so that we can get some chitty chatter and some. I think Mandy's going to try and get hold of the witness list for us. Who's on tomorrow? Took myself off. Who's up first? So that I can then get ready to upload the transcripts once that's finished and compare. Now, I haven't heard back from Steve yet, so that's up in the air at the moment. But I have been playing with it and playing with the database, I should clarify. I've called it Federdata. Factual evidence transcript, trial transcript evaluation. No, analysis. There you go. Factual evidence trial transcript analysis. Federdata. So I will use that as often as I can. Because pretty much it's just exactly to the word from the first trial, and hopefully we'll be able to discover some anomalies between, inconsistencies between statements, and you get to ask it whatever questions you want. Oh, and I noticed before, Simi, you had the song thing with Sumo. I used to do that. Everyone would write a line in the song and we'd come up, and then you'd pick the genre and what have you, and we came up with some funny songs. Haven't done that in ages. So perhaps we could maybe do that during the luncheon periods, when we need to have a bit of entertainment. Now, I think because we're try streaming there's three of us on the panel. So Miss Mandy, Welsh Network News, or Dan, and myself are all on a panel, and we'll be following the trial live every day. And then I have a podcast as well called For the Record, and that's where we're going to do the interactive trial analysis between the two. But my co-host has some YouTube copyright issues at the moment, so it's up in the air at the minute. But yeah, I reckon that's a brilliant idea. We could sumo up a song, rock out with our cock out, so to speak. All right, well, one more sleep, my friends. I think it's going to be a completely different trial than we last saw. It's going to be fiery. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be, hopefully not sad. But I do appreciate good lawyering, as in like skills. So I can appreciate a good argument, and I'm more than happy to share, for you to share arguments and theories and stuff. And all the mods know this is a safe space. There's no tolerance for trolls or bullshit. They don't get a warning. They just get booted. Simple. And you too, my darling. And you too. When you see Miss Shorty, give her a kiss for me. A virtual one. Love you more. And I'll head on off to bed because it's 2:45 in the morning. And definitely, by the looks of this bitch needs some beauty sleep. You go on and have yourself a good Easter Monday. And I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
Hey there, thanks for stopping in. We hope you will join us again. We all look forward to next time. We get to talk about true crime. Clues. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, with sentences rule and the defense rests. Our true crime family is great. All types of topics we debate. Smash that like and ring that bell. Hit subscribe, you might as well.